worked all day today? Because I've noticed that many of you are closing their eyes. Are you tired? No? Or is it because it's too bright up here? You have to close your eyes. Too shiny, is it? Okay. I've mentioned earlier that we are celebrating today the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The word ordinary, why is it ordinary? Does that mean that the Sunday that we are celebrating, all the Sundays that we are celebrating in the ordinary time, is not special? What does that mean? It's not special because it's called ordinary. Therefore, it's not special. It's just simple. Ordinary, not special. What does it mean, ordinary? Ordinary, the church uses so many symbols, as you know, as we all know. The word ordinary came from the Latin word orden. So, orden means there's order. Simple. There's order in the world. What does that mean? In this time, in this ordinary time, order, the Lord is inviting us to put order into our lives. Maybe some of us here do not have any order in their lives. It's in chaos, spiraling down into something else. So God invites us to put in order with Him in our lives. Do you remember the first book of Genesis? The first book of the Bible. I already said it. Genesis, right? Is it? Sure? Good. Just checking, yeah? For those who do not remember, the first book of the Bible, at least the Christian Bible, Judeo-Christian Bible, is Genesis, yeah? Those who don't remember the Bible, it's that usually squarish book, usually black colored, usually, at the corner of your house with 3 inches of dust. Yeah, that's the Bible. Yeah, remember? No? Okay. Remember to read that sometimes, okay? So in the first book of Genesis, the first line is quite interesting, really interesting. It says tohu vavohu. It's a Hebrew word, which means there are so many translations, but among the translations, so many translations, it means formless, no direction, there's chaos. And what happened? God came down to put order into that chaos in our lives, on the world. So, why am I saying all this? If you remember the collect, the prayer that we did at the beginning of the Mass, it says that sacred law, there is law. The laws of the Lord are not the enemies. The law of the Lord is not the enemy. Yeah? It's not the enemy. It's supposed to help us order our lives, put order in our lives. I keep on saying order. Why? Because in the Gospel, in the readings, beautiful, profound, very, if we are going to read it really sincerely, it's really tough, the readings, but it's very substantial, very profound. So in the first reading, what happened? In the Gospel, what happened? Jesus was saying something, was revealing something to his disciples, but what happened? Jesus, the form of God, was revealing something very important, that the Son of Man would die and rise again the third day. This is really important, at least in our understanding, in our faith. But what were the disciples doing? They were talking among themselves, who was the greatest? They were wasting their time, speaking about who was the greatest, who is the greatest. And Jesus said, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You see, what does that mean? What does this scene means? that the disciples are preoccupied with other things. And it speaks to us today as well. We keep on looking at others. We keep on, I don't know, vying for what other people has. For example, I don't know, oh, this person, he has so much attention. I want that too. I want that attention. I want to receive the same attention that that person is receiving. What do? We found in the second reading, there is now jealousy. There is now selfishness. And what happens when we, inculcate jealousy in our hearts? What's the second line? There is disorder. Why? Because we start, out of the many myriad things that we can do, we start sowing disorder by, the most simplest thing is spread gossip. Oh, this person is like this and like that. Look at what he's doing. Look at what she's doing. She's ugly. I don't know. How come she has all the attention? So we start spreading lies. When we say negative things about the others, for example, this person is really bad. This person is horrible. We are inadvertently saying that I am good. Look at me. I am the best. Not that person. We don't say that, but deep within our hearts, we say that. Look at me, I'm the best. Disorder. There's again chaos. So God is inviting us to put order again in our lives. How? How do we do that? The second part of the gospel. What did Jesus do after when teaching them? He took a child. He took a child. So, in this context, Jesus is saying, do not pay attention in the social ladder. Don't pay attention in those hierarchies of the world. Don't look at that. Instead, look at this child. As you know, dear friends, back in Jesus' time, children had no value. They were nobody. They were outside the social ladder. They were outside the hierarchy of thoughts. Even at the time of St. Thomas Aquinas, they said that if there is famine, you should feed first the adults, and then later you can feed the children. You see, the hierarchy, they're almost nobody. Actually, they were nobody. They were poor, they were nobody. But Jesus took a nobody as an example and put the child in his arms and embraced the child. In the original Greek, he said, embrace the child. When we embrace a child or something, it means that we put it close to our hearts, right? Put it close to our hearts. Put it in our hearts, to be part of our heart. And the heart in the Hebrew or in the Greek language, lev in Hebrew, it means not the organ, but it means the center of your being, where the will to love the others resides, where we encounter God. That is the heart, the center of your being. It's the command center, the control center of our being. Yeah. So you put it into our hearts, you make it one with your heart. The will to love the others. Yeah. So to love is not an emotion, as many of us mistakenly confound love with emotions. No, because emotions are temporary. Today you're happy, tomorrow you're sad. Today you're sad, tomorrow you're happy. So love is not an emotion. Partly, yes, but not completely. The totality of love is to will the good of the other. Which is why, if you remember, the command of Jesus, love your enemies, is possible. Because even if you don't like your enemy, you can still love your enemy, because you can still do good to other people. So put it into our hearts. And when we do that, we we see the final text of this letter of St. James, there is mercy. There is mercy. Beautiful. We do mercy. We become merciful to other people. And the word mercy is really beautiful in the Greek. In the Greek, it's splagnisma. I don't know if someone here is Greek, speaks Greek or Greek. It means splagnisma. The nearest description of the word splagnisma. Sorry, excuse me for the example, but this is the description of the word splagnisma. It means that when your tummy is not good, it's not, you're not feeling well, and you need to go to do number 2. Get number 2? Yeah, okay. If you don't know, ask the others later on. What does that mean? Because there's the urgency to do what is good, to love the others. That's the description of splagnisma. You need to go, because it's urgent to love the others. And so, dear friends, in this Eucharistic celebration, we ask the Lord to help us, to heal us, to answer our prayers, especially our deepest desire. Because our deepest desire, at the end of the day, is actually God in our lives.